Good day, Bro to Planet listeners. This is Eric Peterson, quarantining from Salt Lake City, and today I'm joined by Anders of Cadaver. Anders, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Where are you quarantining from?
I'm quarantining from just 1 hour south from Oslo in a county called Råde, which is where my parents live, and they have an extra house on their farm. So I'm sitting in an old house from the 1800s.
Nice.
And basically looking out on this green fields and seeing no people really, and have my own studio set up here so I can play music and basically stay away from people and listen to loud music if I want to.
Good. It doesn't sound like it can't get any better than that, really.
My quarantining here is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So how are things overall up in Oslo?
Well, the whole thing is of course happening here too, but it's a little bit less stressful than I hear people have it other places in the world. But it's we've been shut down like the society with the schools and stuff like that. But they open up for kindergarten and school up to I think the fourth graders or something.
Oh, okay.
But everybody else is home and working from home, losing their jobs, and like everywhere else. But the death tolls in Norway are, fortunately for Norway, very low still.
That's good.
200 people have died or something.
That's good. So how has it been to have an album or an EP released during this time?
Well, that's been a good thing for us, for sure. I mean, we were supposed to play festivals, and like everybody else in the music business now, we kind of stopped to, see what's going on with all the festivals postponed till next year and everything. Good for us, we had an album and an EP to release, so we realized after a couple of weeks into the quarantine that people need something new to listen to, and because everybody's postponing things, why not just release the EP now and see how that goes? And it's been really, really well, and people respond to it in a way I was not like surprised, but I'm always kind of surprised that people like what I do. But this time it's been really, really nice to see that people react so positively to hear something new from Cadaver, and that makes me really proud of what we have done, and looking forward to release more music later this year and hopefully get out there and play shows for people in the future, even if they have to wear like hazmat suits or whatever it takes to make gigs happen again. Everybody, the whole audience will look like Slipknot, and the band will look like the audience used to look like. I don't know.
Yeah. So was it in Norway somewhere, or I read over there somewhere there was a Drivein concert.
Oh yeah, no, that's a drive-in. There's drive-in gigs here.
Yeah.
It doesn't really appeal to me to stand in front of like 200 cars to play metal. It feels kind of weird. I don't know if that's the future of gigs. I don't know.
Well, the scary part would be what happens if a mosh pit breaks out in one of those.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna be like arena shows for 100 people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something's gonna change for sure, but I think the key issue is to learn more about what we're facing right now. We don't really know, and as everything's uncertain, anyone's guess is as good as the other guy's guess.
Exactly.
I realize if I pay attention to all the news about this on a daily basis, you'll go mental because there's conflicting stories about anything relating to this all the time from different countries and different solutions and whatnot. If you really want to do something else in life, you shouldn't really pay attention to all that news because it's not going to help you,
No. So your new album is or EP, I should say, is called DGAF. And
Yeah.
where did you guys come up with the cover and the art for the cover?
Well, the artwork was truly inspired by the first two Carcass albums, which is kind of obvious if you've seen those albums.
Yeah.
I guess that's not so obvious anymore because you have to be really old school to know that true link. But the link between Cadaver and Carcass has a deeper story with the fact that they signed us to their own label, Necrosis Records, in '89. So they were our mentors, basically, starting my career as a recording artist with our first Cadaver album. So I wanted to have a tip of the hat back to the guys who gave me the chance when I was 17 years old. This whole EP is a kind of a tribute to my legacy with Carcass and what is truly a European version of death metal, which is also a good an important part of it because back in the late 80s when death metal kind of formed as a music genre, the American bands were way too technical for us as kids to even try to emulate. Bands like Death and Morbid Angel and all these bands seem to have been rehearsing for 5 or 10 years longer than we had possibility to do. And then this British bands, especially Carcass, but also Bolt Thrower and Napalm Death, with their style, kind of showed us there was a different, much more gritty and a way to do this kind of music in a context that we could relate to and possibly try to do something emulating whatever they did, and trying to figure out what they did was really hard, as it was. You didn't have any YouTube, so you just had to listen to the albums and figure out how do they play these fast drums, how is that done. Nobody knew blast beats. We just had to figure it out ourselves. It has to be like this. It was just like a crazy time when you didn't know what to do. You just tried to figure out stuff, and it was a beautiful time that way. Wish kids now, if they want to learn something, you can just go to the YouTube and look at the best drummers in the world playing blast beats. It's like, let's just rehearse and do that. So it's all about the legacy, and but I'm still really looking ahead, and into the future with the music. I don't regard our music as a nostalgic piece of music. I just want to have a tip of the hat to the old days, but not try to copy what we did back then. Literally, just like a tribute more.
Yeah. So the new EP is kind of, is it a sample of what we should expect from the new album?
Yeah, I should have a better answer to that question because everybody's kind of asking that. And that's, when you're making songs, you try to make songs that fits together as an album because I'm old school. So I try to always have an idea what, I would listen to and not get bored. That's kind of, what everything's all about.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you want to truly be honest and listen to your own stuff without switching on your phone and whatever you do, you're probably on the right track somewhere. But I would say the album and the EP is definitely the same kind of style, but I'm trying to write songs differently every time and make them fit together, and they can work as one by one. It doesn't really matter, but it's within the framework of the style, of course. Most importantly is that we try to record as much as possible with naturally sounding drums and playing drums, recording the drums and the guitar at the same time in the same room, like we used to do back in the day. So it has that vibe of spontaneity and not being, somebody just record something and then somebody else record something on top of it. It wanted to be like a truly, how you used to do things back in the day when you recorded in the same room. So yeah.
Well, I think based on this EP, I'm really excited to hear what the rest of it sounds like, because this EP just smashes it, and so I think it's going to be a great, like I say, a tease for us to see what's coming in the near future from you guys.
Yeah, you can truly say that.
So you were talking a little bit about the past, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I mean, you guys formed in what, 89 or so?
Yeah, 88, 89, yeah.
And I mean, it's I would say you guys were right at the forefront of the black metal thing, with there's a lot of stuff coming out of Norway at that time, and you guys were right in there with it. What was it like during that time for you guys?
Well, I mean, to me, that whole scene is basically the same scene I'm coming from and still are a part of, because everybody I know today in music is the same people I got to know in those formative years. During 89, 1991, I met literally everybody from all these Norwegian black metal bands as fans of our stuff or starting their own bands at the same time. People like Immortal guys, for instance.
Yeah.
The first time we played in Bergen with Cadaver, Immortal had not been formed officially as Immortal, but they had a band called Old Funeral.
Okay.
And Abbath was playing drums, and the Count Grishnak from Bursum was playing bass, I think.
Okay.
And the guitarist is the guy who was later to become Abbath's companion in another band called I. But basically, these guys were our support band, and Demonas from Immortal was our merchandiser.
Oh, okay.
So, for instance,
Yeah.
And he was a fantastic salesperson. I think I brought like 50 albums, and he sold everything before we even played.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
He was like, do you have anything else? I'm like, no, that's everything.
Wow.
So he was, all these people were there at the same time, basically. And we were just a part of the bigger scene in Norway.
So, I mean,
the scene was pretty much all the bands. That was the scene. We had like Darkthrone was playing live still. We did some shows with them, and 40, 50 people turn up in Oslo. And that was probably everybody that was into this music at the time. So it was very small, very special, and basically what we did, Yeah.
So do you feel like it was all, I mean, everybody reverts back to the Meyhem thing and those guys and that, did you guys all kind of spawn from the same like religious oppression kind of a stuff, or did you hear some of the other bands and go, I want to be like that, I want to do that?
The thing with Meyhem and me is pretty much my story of getting into this, because when I was 14 years old, I listened to this radio program that they did. Meyhem were like the guests in this, not pirate radio, but like local radio from Oslo that I could hear from where I lived. And so I learned to know who those guys were when I was like 14, and I told my dad to drive me to the rehearsal space. So I saw Meyhem rehearse when I was like 14 years old. And basically that opened up the whole can of worms.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
So it's been my life since. But the religious part of the black metal thing is, because Norway is extremely secular country. We don't have like, the Christianity in Norway is very, how should I say? It's not very evangelical. It's more like Protestant. What's it called? Protestants.
Protestant, yeah.
And when we grew up, there was, of course, we had Christianity in school, but we were opposed to it. But I don't think that was the whole story. You know, the whole story with the black metal thing being anti-Christian was also like more like a, not a, I wouldn't say gimmick, but more like a black humor thing, anti-establishment thing.
Yeah, just a way to rebel.
This is really young. Yeah, like really young people need something to point their fingers to, basically.
Yeah, because I see.
And they didn't really.
Go ahead.
They didn't really offer that much resistance because they didn't have any. There was a really easy target to pick because, there were no really big fight back, so to speak.
Yeah. I see this. I mean, I see the black metal and the stuff that happened there, and it kind of compares to the thrash metal scene in the Bay Area of California. You know, it's just kids trying to get their angst out, and one diverged one way and one diverged another way, but they're very similar in their evolution.
Yeah, that's true. Those two things are kind of related. I think there was also a part of it which wanted to stand out from the commercialization of underground music at the time. That was a big part of the Norwegian black metal scene's formation, to be anti-commercial and basically anything to do with being rock stars or successful as somebody doing music just for the gimmick or the hell of it. So they wanted like a more genuine and more serious take on things. But when that's done by kids, it's really hard to take it seriously for adults somehow.
Exactly.
Until somebody torches churches on fire.
Yeah, exactly. Then you take it seriously.
Then it becomes something totally different,
exactly.
Which is arson and crimes and stuff which has nothing to do with music. And I think a lot of people just turn up.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yep, I'm still here. Sorry.
No, lots of people didn't really understand that connection and still don't, because there's no real connection between being like a terrorist and a musician, because that's really what that is
exactly
in real life.
So I
think it'll. Yeah,
that's interesting. I was reading an interview recently with you, and it was talking a little bit about your bout with cancer. I'm a cancer survivor myself. I don't call myself a cancer survivor. I call myself a cancer conqueror. How are things going for you in that realm?
Well, what can I ask you what you had?
I had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I went through almost a year of chemo.
Yeah. I had the colon cancer.
Okay.
So I had this, basically I'm cancer free now because they managed to remove everything from through surgery.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to have that surgery in January before this crazy apocalypse happened.
Yeah.
I know I would have had my surgery regardless, but I know that lots of cancer treatments actually been stand still now because of the corona thing, which is unfortunate for a lot of people. So, basically, I got cancer in October 19, did chemo, then the surgery, and then I'm still on chemo now, actually, for post-surgery chemo. So I still have 1 month left.
How has chemo been for you?
It's not been that bad, actually. I have to say, I thought it would have been. You never know what you think, actually. That's the thing. You've had cancer yourself. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to explain to people how that really feels like, and the experience is always unique. But right now I'm doing a chemotherapy, which is on 85% of the max.
Okay.
Because they're tuning it up to be stronger every time, because my body can take it. So they're doing this careful measurements about how much I can do. But this chemo I'm doing, for instance, isn't really taking my hair out, or I'm not getting that exhausted as I used to be before the surgery, obviously, because I also had cancer in me and did painkillers extensively. Right now, I'm actually feels like I'm, how should I say this? It feels lighter in a way. It feels like I'm not having that, what I call like a chemical hangover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that feeling.
Yeah, you know that feeling. That feeling isn't really there anymore, which is good. And because of the situation, I had to do this immune system boost shots on myself after every chemo. The chemo is every 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
And but that seemed to also be doing well, because when I started doing that, I had lots of back pain, but now it's not doing anything to my body that I feel like pain or anything. So I'm basically feeling okay.
Good.
And,
good.
Basically getting through this mess we're all in together with the coronavirus. It feels like everybody got on my side when it comes to, being precautious about their health and staying away from, the social distancing suits fine, and all the cleaning stuff and the antibac and the washing of hands is, of course, very good for us cancer patients, that everybody else is careful about, being contaminated.
Yeah, I mean, as a somebody with cancer, it's like this is just normal life to you and I, but to the rest of the world, it's like, oh my God, what is going on? And it's like, well, we've been doing this forever.
Yeah, exactly. I've been doing this for like 8 months. I'm 8 months into where everybody's like on their 7th week now, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. So when you get better, what's something, or when the world comes back to a little bit of normal, what's one of the first things you want to get out and do?
Well, I really, really want to go out and play some shows.
Yeah.
That feels like something which is right now, it feels like science fiction to play a show. So it's we have to get through this to the other side to see what that looks like, and whatever that will be, I don't know. Humans are very adaptable creatures, so I guess we will get back to normal when we feel it's safe. But I think the longer it takes, the more reluctant people will be, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
At some point, we need to meet more people.
Exactly.
And do some. I think everybody's going kind of crazy about the fact that we have to sit in, our own homes and look into screens and be all futuristic and stuff. But maybe we can do like the Matrix, or that would be great now.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You just jump into like a virus-free version of the world and go to gigs and get out of the suit and get onto the submarine again. I don't know.
Until you see those guys in the black suits chasing you.
Yeah, that's the thing. We'll see where we go, but I think everybody hopes this will be over by summer. I don't think that's possible, but it's gonna last for longer than we think, but probably a little shorter than we dread.
Yeah. So my last question for you is, can give me a song by title or context from Cadaver that best describes the state of the world as we know it today.
The thing is, which is really weird, which I have to tell you now, is that on the album, which isn't out yet, I have a song called The Pestilence.
Ah, okay.
And I wrote that exactly 1 year ago in the beginning of April 2019.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of like a prophetic lyrics in retrospect now, but you know, because I've been into the end of the world for such a long time, and you know, those topics about possible end scenarios, this one is actually on the top 3. So
Nice.
I will not say that I'm Nostradamus at all, because this is pretty much something that would be expected. But I think I have to explain that lyrics and that song in a total different context now when that comes out later this year, because it seems like I, you know, wrote it because of this, but I wrote it 1 year before. But, you know, that's going to be very hard to explain to people. So I don't know.
Well, that just gives us another reason to look forward to new stuff, so we can hear that song and go, oh wow, this is, now I can look back on that song in our interview and say, okay, yeah, that's what he was talking about. So
exactly. There's another one there also called "Feed the Pigs," which basically is talking about how, you know, we're all fed to the media, and the media feed things back to us, stuff like that. You know, reflections I had about, you know, how we just devour everything around us, truth or false. We don't really, you know, see the difference anymore sometimes. In this time we're at right now, it's really important to actually get your facts right, because facts matters.
Yes, they do.
This. Yeah.
They do. Well, Anders, it's been great talking to you, and everybody go pick up the new Cadaver EP, DGAF, and I look forward to hearing the whole album now. And you take care of yourself, man. And
you too.
And congratulations on being for the most part, cancer-free. And we will conquer.
We will conquer.
Yes.
For sure. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Bye. You too. Cheers.